Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast with Michelle Chalfant, a place to delve into who we are, how we got that way, and explore what it takes to be a healthy grown-up. With an extensive toolbox and guests with varied expertise, Michelle will lead us on a journey to learn what it's like to live authentically and to love ourselves just the way we are. And now, here's Michelle.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm talking today with you about magic. The magic of being. B-E-I-N-G is what I'm talking about today. Being. You know, so many people ask me for, they want that magic pill so they can be fixed and healed and transformed in a moment. And I think this being exercise really comes pretty darn close to magic. It really can change us on the inside, which is what we're looking for. So that's what we're talking about today. There's a magic in being, and I'm going to give you some things that happened to me and how we do this being and what the benefits are in a moment. But first, I want to remind you, we still actually have a few spots left open for the Adult Chair Weekend Intensive, May 4th and 5th here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I know it's a bad weekend for so many of you. I've heard from a lot of you that are upset it's in May. And I'm sorry I could not get a venue in Nashville in April. It's very busy here in Nashville, as most of you probably know. So I know it's a big wedding weekend and college graduations, Cinco de Mayo. I think it's Kentucky. There's a lot going on that weekend. So I'm sorry. We will do another Adult Chair Intensive probably in the fall. I'm not sure where, but it will be in the fall. But if you'd like to come to Nashville, go to theadultchair.com/workshop and get more information, and you can sign up there. Also, we still have another week for the Adult Chair for the membership group. You know, we are talking this whole month in the membership group about just living in the adult chair, and we just did a fabulous Q&A the other day. It was a live Q&A that I did, and I answered all these questions, really great questions, and it's on video, and you have full access to that in the membership site. So come on over there, theadultchair.com/membership, and you can step into your adult chair more fully this month in that membership group. And next month, we are doing self-love, a whole month on learning how to love yourself from the adult chair model. So you can find that out in the membership group. All right. I have a fabulous product and a new sponsor of the show that I want to tell you about today. The company is called Ned. Ned produces full spectrum hemp oil products that contain CBD extracted from the finest organic hemp plants and only sources its products from local farms and communities. From seed to bottle, all of Ned's products are energetically infused with love, gratitude, and positive vibrations. That is unbelievable to me. I love that. Also, using binaural beats, their products are attuned to the frequencies that are associated with remedying, you ready for this, depression, anxiety, while promoting DNA repair, focus, balance, and calm. CBD, or cannabinoids, have a wide range of benefits and regulate nearly every biological system in the human body. Some of the best known are a sleep aid, also used to treat insomnia, which is what I have been using this for about a year. And let me just tell you, it has changed my sleep. I have no problem staying asleep now since I've been using CBD oil. It's also used as an anti-inflammatory, as a natural pain reliever, this is why I give it to my son after soccer. He runs so hard for an hour and a half. His muscles are in so much pain. I give him CBD oil. Pain is gone. So it's incredible. Also, we use CBD oil to treat anxiety, PTSD, depression, and chronic conditions such as epilepsy, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. And the question that people typically ask me when I say that I use this, especially when I give it to my son, is they say, do you get high off of this? And it's no, you don't get high off of this. There's a minuscule amount of THC in this, and only 0.3% is allowed by law. So, and this is what gets people high. And this is not in this oil. So do not worry about that. So thank you to Ned for supporting the show. You can get today 15% off with free shipping by going to helloned.com/adult. helloned.com/adult. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to step into the magic of being. There really is a magic in being. It's a different magic than what I find from meditation. When you observe something in the moment, it brings us into complete presence. It's an act of mindfulness. So why do we want to do this? And this is where we find our true self. And isn't that what our journey is all about? We're on this life journey and we're going through life and we attain a lot of things, but really what we're looking for at some point, especially I find this as we go along this life journey, it's like we're looking for something. And what I find is, after talking with so many people over the course of 25 years, we're all looking for the same thing. We're looking to find out who we really are. We may think we're reaching for happiness or a mate or something like this, but we're really looking for our true self. And unfortunately, because we're not woken up to this, so many of us do life from the adolescent chair. Even when we meditate and we can oftentimes do our self-care even from the adolescent chair. I found myself in this place just about a month ago. I know the importance of meditation and yoga and presence, but I was doing it from my adolescent chair. And I come across this with so many people when they say, I don't know what's wrong. I meditate every morning and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I found myself in the same place about a month ago. I found myself almost like ticking the boxes. Like, for example, I know the importance of drinking lemon water. First thing when I get up in the morning, I know the importance of meditation. I know the importance of yoga. So what I did was I was getting up and I was guzzling down the lemon water instead of slowly sipping to wake up my digestion and cleansing the organs and making it a real beautiful spiritual morning experience. I found myself like turning on the hot water, putting the lemon in, guzzling the water, sitting down, turning on my timer, meditating, and then getting my yoga mat out, and I found myself almost rushing through. And I was trying to get it done so I could jump in my office as fast as possible to get to work and write and create content because my list was so long. And I found that the more I had to do, the faster my brain would go. And my to-do list just kept going. And my brain was kicking out serious things on that list. I mean, it was getting a little crazy. And as you know, that to-do list never, ever goes away. In fact, I think I've had one since I was a teenager and it just never goes away. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I think we have to learn to accept that. But I found about a month ago, I was woken up out of this dream state I was in because it was like, I added the membership site, all that goes onto my list every single month. And I'm getting back to writing the original book and I'm adding all of these really big things onto my list. And it squishes the time out of the day. I'm like, well, I have far less time, so I got to get to it. I don't have time to sit and meditate. And I don't have time to do yoga for 30 minutes. I got to do it for 2 minutes. So all the good stuff was getting squished out of my day, basically. And about a month ago, I was on this lovely walk and I was chatting with my cousin. And I was sharing with her how much I had to get done. And I'm sharing with her everything I just mentioned, the workshop, the book, and I've got so much going on and it's so exciting. But I found myself talking faster and faster and faster. And I thought, and then I tuned into myself and I thought, oh my gosh, my heart's racing as I share all this great information with her. And I thought, who the heck is even talking right now? Because I'm talking so fast. I was kind of watching myself, which by the way, is our adult when we're watching all this happen. And so I'm telling my cousin all that I have to do. And when I was done talking, she didn't comment on, oh, wow, that's a lot to do, Michelle. She didn't even go there with me because she knows she's one of my people. And she says to me, have you been present lately and enjoying your backyard? That was her comment after like 15 minutes of me going on and on with all I had to do. And it was one of those aha moments. And thank God for people in our lives that serve as mirrors for us. And I always pay attention to people that mirror me. And everybody on the planet mirrors us, by the way. But this was a really important mirror because I needed to wake up out of the adolescent dream state I was in. So when she asked me that question, it was like it all came, it was like the light bulb moment and everything lit up. And I thought, oh my God, she's so right. This is exactly what I need to hear. It's exactly what I need to do. And I said, oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. Thank you. And everything in my body slowed down. And it's interesting because I had been hearing that for a while. I'd been hearing this little voice inside of me saying, gosh, it's so nice outside. Why don't you go outside and sit for a few minutes? It was a quiet little voice. And then the big adolescent voice was like, we don't have time for that. Keep going. You've got all this work to do. You don't have time. But there's this yearning, I would say it's not just from the adult, it's the inner child. It's like, oh, I just want to bask in the moment. This is where we line up with all of it. But I couldn't do it. I was in the middle of an adolescent takeover. It was like there was no time for stopping and being. And my adolescent was going to get it all done. And the more I had to do, the faster she wanted to go. My Addie was on fire. She was going 1,000,000 miles an hour. And the more I was adding to my to-do list, the more my brain was moving faster. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. And I needed someone to wake me up out of that dream. And thank God my cousin did that for me. I was thinking back to that state that I was in. And it almost is like when we get so much, when we're that busy, it's like the oxygen is being squeezed out of the lungs. It's almost hard to breathe because we're breathing so shallowly, if that's a word, or just shallow. And gosh, I'd been there for like a couple of weeks. I was just going from the adolescent chair. So this is what I'm inviting you all to do, is to take your journey to the next level, to move into your adult chair and slide into the moment and just be, so you can experience who you truly are, because that is where it happens. So why is it so important to stop what we're doing and sit and be? It's because this is where we reconnect into ourselves, but sit in the adult chair. This is where we stay connected to our higher truths, our ideas, and our sense of self. But also, being is an immersion into the present moment and the discovery of self with a capital S. It's complete mindfulness and present moment awareness. Okay, so what do I mean by self with a capital S? It's a very different self than the small s self. My small s self, to give you an example, I'm a mom, I'm a podcaster, I'm a therapist, I'm a coach, I teach workshops, I have a book. That's small s. That's like from the adolescent chair, the ego wants to define us as something. It's looking for an identity. So people would say, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a business owner, I'm a painter, whatever. And all of those things are really important because our ego needs that identity. But what I found happens is that when we begin to understand how much more we are in these quiet times of being, we pay less attention to the ego's definition of self, which is the small s, and we put less emphasis on that self because we're discovering our truer self, which is the big S. We are magnificent beings, and we cannot know just how magnificent through words, because to find that true self is an experience. Until we experience our greatness, we travel through life reaching and wanting more and more and more to become something, or to find a partner, to have kids, or get the dream job or the new job, or get the new car. But we find that we keep reaching and we never feel totally satisfied. This is how that ego works. And by the way, it's not a bad thing. It's part of being human. It's part of being human to have desires and longings and to reach for that next thing, to set goals and achieve them. That's part of being human. I'm not saying not to do that. But when we're looking for our true self and our happiness and peace by reaching, that's the mistake. What we want to do is bring everything into balance, and we do this with being. So what happens in this moment of when we're being is that magic happens. For me, it's a different experience than meditation. Meditation is certainly another way of being, and I practice this as well. I do my best to do my 10 minutes a day. But the difference is that my eyes are closed. And there's a different practice with meditation. My eyes are closed. I might be focusing on my breath. I'm observing my thoughts. When your eyes are open and you're sitting somewhere and you're just noticing what's around you, noticing. For me, at least, it's a whole different experience. And by the way, if you find meditation difficult to do, this is perfect. This is perfect for you. And if you are a meditator, add this to your practice if you're not already doing that. The practice of being that I do is eyes wide open, sit in a quiet space, inside or out. I prefer outside, of course, but you can do either one, and just observe what's around you. You don't have to give anything meaning, by the way, but listen. What sounds do you hear? So if you're inside, you might hear the heat click on or the air conditioning click on, or I have a big giant fish tank in my office. So sometimes I'll just look at the fish and I'll listen to the little bubbling filter. And if you're outside, you might hear birds. You might even hear someone's lawnmower, which I don't like to hear, but it's still part of that present moment experience. So I don't judge it. I just notice. How's the temperature, whether you're inside or out? Be fully in the moment. That's what we're going for when we're being. So what happens is when we're doing this practice of being, we start to experience something bigger than what we're even observing. We might even lose our sense of self altogether. And we do this almost like this merging into this oneness. But it's, again, even using those words, it's so hard to put it into words. It's an experience. You're experiencing who you truly are is not something we can really put into words. So this is why have fun with this. Go outside, get really curious from your adult. What happens when we're outside or inside and just being in the moment? Being fully in the moment is an experience of self. I typically even set a timer because remember, the ego's like, well, how long are we going to be doing this? I don't have a lot of time here. But I'll say, for this, I meditate for at least 10 minutes a day. But for this, I am 30 minutes a day. And there is no right or wrong. So you do not have to do 30 minutes. But I oftentimes find myself going over because I've lost the little s self so much. And I'm so immersed in this big S. It just takes over. And we really connect to something so much bigger than who we are. The after effects of this, so when I get up and walk away from doing this practice of being, is incredible peace, presence, a slowing down. But yet, despite how long my to-do list is, there's a knowing that everything will get done right on time. In fact, after I do this present or my present moment or my being experience, I get more ideas and downloads of information than when I'm not doing this. It's incredible. I'll stand up and walk away or walk into my office, and it's like this clarity is there and the mind is quiet and all these beautiful inspirations and downloads come right down through me and I just start to write. So things that you might have to make a decision about, you will have clarity on, or you'll know the next step that you need to take. If not the end result, you'll know what to do next. The other thing I notice is the physical body is so relaxed. It's like everything slows down. The heart slows down. Stress fades away. And again, there is a feeling of connectedness. It's like, gosh, I'm part of all of this. It is the most incredible experience. So many benefits. So I remember when I was a little girl growing up, I used to do this. I used to go out and sit at the end of the dock because we lived on a lake, and I just look at the water and be. And I remember feeling that same connectedness. And I never really gave it up, but I find that if I have these moments where I get extra busy, sometimes that's something that goes because the ego is saying, nope, don't have time for that. But my cousin waking me up was such a gift because I was able to go, I'm not losing that again. Like, that's really important. So I'm so grateful to her for waking me up and getting me out of that 2 weeks of not being. But I have to say what a gift it was, because I had the beautiful contrast of understanding what it's like to live with the practice of being and without it. And I think back to those 2 weeks and I'm like, wow, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Again, could barely breathe, shallow breath, and I look back and I'm like, wow, not doing that again. 2 weeks of that was a lot. So this practice of being, I've made sure I've done it every day, and maybe not every day is 30 minutes, but even if it's 5 minutes, it's that reconnecting to something bigger than us. And then I get back to it. So slow down and get to know yourself with a capital S. And you might be pleasantly surprised with what you discover about you. I would love to hear your experiences with this. So please make sure to come join me on social media. I really do enjoy getting comments when you all comment in about what kind of experiences you're having from exercises like these. So at Michelle.Chalfant is where I am on Instagram, and Michelle Chalfant on Facebook, or of course the Adult Chair closed group. But I love to hear how your experiences are going. So come on and join me there. All right, everybody. That's all I've got for you today. Do not forget, just go to theadultchair.com. There's a wealth of information in there. You can find out about the workshop, the meditation group, consultations, and much more. I wish you all a fabulous, fabulous week. Much love to every single one of you, and much gratitude as well. And I'll see you seated here firmly next week, right in the adult chair.